Guns up, Poke fans. It's time for PokeCast. Broadcasting live at Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNeese Street in Lake Charles. Now, here's your host, Jim Gazzolo.
Well, we're back at Mr. Bill's. An interesting PokeCast tonight, folks. Gary Goff was supposed to be here. Lightning has forced him to miss because they will be practicing into the night. We will have Will Wade in a few minutes. So we'll have that at least for you for a little bit of the segment. Otherwise, you're just going to have to look at my pretty face for a while. I'm sorry to say. So if you have any football questions, basketball questions, I'll start it with. But I'll start with this. A lot of people have asked me this week what I thought about the Florida game. The check cleared, I presume, so it's a win. The rest of it is pretty much this way. There was no major injury, which is the one thing. At one point in time, Gary Goff said this week, he dummied down the offense a little bit in order to protect some players. So he wanted to be healthy. He also promised, for all you people, that the offense will be completely opened up this week. So apparently we're going to see the actual air raid this week starting. There's a lot to put into the first two games. I know a lot of people are disappointed in it. I think you have to examine it with looking around the league, for that matter. The league is 2-14. A lot of that is who you're playing and why you're playing them. It is a money issue to get as much money as you can early in the year, and that's what you're seeing. But what to expect the next couple of weeks? To me, the next 2 weeks are the most important 2 weeks of the season because of this. They'd never lost to Alcorn or any SWAC school until last year, and Alcorn beat them. They've never lost to Eastern Illinois, and they go there. These are two games that will take the temperature of where this season is going to go for this reason. They're like teams. They have similar issues, and they're playing on basically the same playing field. So the point is being these are games where we should see if there is actual growth this year or not, because there were two games that we can compare to last year directly. And that is kind of an interesting point of where we were a year ago, how are we this year going into the Alcorn game? Alcorn was much more physical. They had 10 sacks last year on McNeese. McNeese has been sacked 9 times this year. That has to be cleaned up. There's also the main issue of can they get the running game going, offensive line, a lot of other questions. A lot of questions will be either answered this week or, unfortunately, there will be more questions raised. But this is a very big week for them for that reason. Secondly is this is a program that, interestingly enough, last week saw some highlights that were good. They didn't give up big plays. Now, Florida didn't run their full package, but they were able to run the football on McNeese. That was expected. But I think the bigger issue has always been, can this team compete on any level? We'll see how it does. Fortunately enough, Will Wade is here, so I don't have to blabber anymore. See? I want to point out that I didn't get applause when I came on, so.
That's not surprising.
I don't think you need to start right there. Thank you for subbing
I do
in.
like your shirt. We haven't talked about this. That's my favorite of the McNeese logos.
Really?
But, yes.
Then why aren't you wearing it?
Because we're going to transition our basketball into that logo. We're going to use that for basketball mostly. PJ's kind of spearheading that.
Is that breaking news?
I don't know if it's breaking news, but you like breaking news, don't you?
Yeah. I mean, it beats no news.
Yeah.
It beat the first 5 minutes of me sitting up here alone. Yeah, I'll tell you that much. All right, that's what
Jim, you're
doing?
very compelling. I don't know. I mean, you sitting up here alone was probably pretty good.
No, it's never as good. So how are you doing?
I'm doing well.
Are
we talking football, basketball? What are we going to talk about? I don't know anything about Alcorn State's football team, so I'm not going to be real helpful with that.
I'll get back to that. I'll circle back to that later on.
Okay.
So let's talk about your dinner next week.
Okay, yeah, the 21st.
Yeah. Why is basketball starting in September?
We start practice the 25th. So actually next week is our boot camp. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, everybody's got to pass our 3-day conditioning test. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Makeup day.
You have 3 days of conditioning?
Oh, it's brutal.
That's a rough test.
It's brutal. So we got 3 straight days of that, 5:30 in the morning. And then,
that's painful.
And then Thursday is the banquet, kind of the tip-off banquet. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we're going on our team retreat. So we're leaving town, no cell phones for 3 days. And then Monday.
No cell phones?
No cell phones. And then Monday, so don't text me. Don't text me. I can't respond.
This generation.
The place we're going, I don't even know if they have cell phone reception out there. It's so far out there.
All right.
And then Monday's the official start of practice. So basketball used to be you started October 15th. You remember that with all the Midnight Madness.
Midnight Madness.
Now they give you 42 days before your first game. You can start practice, and you can only practice 30 of those 42 days.
So you get 42 days to do 30 practices.
Correct. So you basically got to it's 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You got to give 2 days off a week, and you get 30 practices.
Well, that's not bad.
So yeah.
So what are you doing? What are you doing a 3-day fitness test? What are you killing these poor guys?
I don't know if you'd make it through a minute, Jim.
No, not now. Not then.
No, we're not. No, we're seeing who's. Look. I say this all the time. Everybody wants to be in the parade. You got to figure out who wants to build the floats. So everybody likes to ride in the parade. You got to figure out who wants to put the elbow grease in to build the floats and make things happen. So this is where you figure it out. So our guys know we mean business. I had a kid, Darius Days, who played for me at LSU. He's in the NBA now. Plays for the Rockets. He couldn't pass it. He had to make up 42 runs in one day to even practice for us.
Oh, that's rough. No, I couldn't pass that. I think we
it's
know that.
You got to figure out who's going to be a part of what you want to, what you're about.
You made sure he passed it.
Huh?
He had the talent to make sure he passed it.
Oh yeah, he passed it.
He was going to pass it anyway?
No.
Oh, okay. Sure. So what's for dinner? What is this dinner on the 21st?
Well, they were just meeting on it when I left, when I got called out of the bullpen over here. The Cowboy Club's going to be there. Thank you, Alan, for being here tonight. We appreciate that. And the rest of your crew, Alan. I apologize, but it's going to be a dinner where we're going to have the players at each of the tables. We're going to introduce the team, introduce the players, just so everybody gets a sense. I mean, we got a lot of new guys.
Yeah, quite a few.
And so we're gonna introduce everybody, so everybody can get acquainted to the new guys. Everybody can have a better understanding of those guys. We're gonna have dinner, and then we've got a live auction. We've got a live auction at the end. So the live auction will benefit the Ranch Collective for all of McNeese Athletics.
So we're in the middle of football season, or we're at the start of football season, and I see on my social media spot, basketball pops up with a commit. You have a new commit today for the next year? 23-24?
I don't know. Did it pop up today?
Yes, it popped up today.
Oh, he committed to us a long time ago. So I'm not on social media, so I don't know.
How are you not on social media?
I can't talk about commitments. I'm trying to get out of the NCAA's doghouse. You trying to put me back in? I can't talk about that.
If it just pops up, I thought for sure it was common knowledge.
No,
we don't want to get. You already got 10 games. No, we don't need to see that.
Yeah, you're going to be tacking on games if they listen to this. If you keep going down this path, so we have a commitment. He committed. Shoot, he visited at the end of August. He committed a couple weeks ago.
So all right, so.
I mean, you're way behind on your news. What the heck you been doing?
Football. It's a football world. What do you want?
Yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
What do you want from me?
But yeah, we have a commitment.
Well, the question is now, how are the new guys and the old guys getting along, and how is the culture that you wanted to change as you've gone through the first kind of summer workouts and now this?
Look, I mean, we're still in the forming stages of what we're doing. So it's I think the next couple weeks are big with the boot camp, with the team retreat. All that stuff is what you need to continue to build the bonds that you need within the team. I certainly think we've set the standards of how we want to do things, how we want to go about things, what we want to do. But now it gets tougher as you get closer because you got to hand out playing. There's just a lot of other stuff.
Playing time and
there's other stuff that goes into it, and so I like where we are. I'm excited with where we are. I like our guys. I like the makeup of our team. But we've got a lot of ground to cover between now and the first game and the first there's just a lot of ground to cover, and we just got to keep plowing through it.
I've watched a couple of things. I've seen some players working out, and that you're much bigger than you were bulk-wise. It seems like you really went into the weight room this summer.
Yeah, our guys put on average 8 pounds this summer. I was really proud of that. 14%, lean muscle mass, which is really, really good. So, our guys have done a good job. It's not only what you lift, it's what you eat, it's how you sleep. There's a lot of components. That go into that, and I've been pleased with how our guys have responded and what a good job they've done in the weight room.
Is there anything you're looking forward to most the next couple of weeks besides getting in there and getting started? What do you want to see?
I'm excited about just the continued growth. I think we've made some major strides in the last really the last 2 weeks. We've really kind of kicked it into another gear, which is what I've been hoping for. And I want to see if we can just continue that and continue to have consistency with what we're doing. I tell our guys, you never bet against consistent behavior. The best people in your life are the most consistent people in your life. So can we become consistent as a team and do what we do day by day, practice by practice? Can we do that?
All right, the big question is, I've seen brackets where you're up to 14, a 14 seed.
I haven't seen
now.
those.
You haven't?
No.
What's the highest you've seen?
I haven't seen any of the brackets. I don't look at that. No.
No, there are some that have you as a 14 seed.
Okay.
Which is interesting because McNeese has never been – Southland has never been a 14 seed, I don't think. So expectations are now high. I saw one thing where you're considered the dark horse of the small schools.
Okay.
You know that?
No, I didn't know that.
Do you consider yourself a dark horse?
I don't know. We're a horse, so we'll take it.
Oh. With the logo. You like the
Yeah.
It's all about the logo for you. All right.
Look, I look at it like this. You'd rather people to be, you'd rather the expectations be high than have no expectations at all. So,
you like the attention for the program.
I think it's great for the program. It's great for the school. It's great for the area. So, we're not going to, what's the alternative? Nobody caring? So,
yeah.
I think there's a real, it's a real positive that people are, that people care enough and people are taking notice. And now we got to deliver. They don't win games on paper, so now we got to deliver on the court for sure.
So what can you do for the first 10 games and what can't you do? Has it been decided yet?
Yeah, it's been decided, but I think we we're still talking about a few things. So we're trying to figure out to the detail what can and can't be done.
But you will be on the floor for UL.
I'll be on the floor for the Southern Miss game.
And Lafayette?
And Lafayette's after Southern Miss, right? Order of operations.
That's the one everybody's talking about. You got them talking about it right off the bat.
Well, we'll be on the floor starting with Southern Miss and move, like 3 non-conference games, Southern Miss, UL, and Michigan, and then right into Southland play. So
do you like this fact that you go with those games right at the end, building into the conference?
Yeah, we've got, the schedule lays out how it lays out. We tried to front load it as much as we could to get the 10 games or 5 games, what we thought at the time we did most of scheduling, to get it out of the way. We're playing those 2 non-1s on back-to-back days. Yeah. We were trying to knock out games and knock out dates. And so, I like the way the schedule lays out, but you got to play the games, you got to win the games. And so you're not going to win 23 if you can't win a few of those to start.
Yeah, but you also got going to La Tech is kind of an interesting game because I can't remember the last time McNeese went up there, but they used to play La Tech both here and there. Do you like the playing in-state?
Yeah, I think as much as you can, it makes sense to play in-state or play local. It cuts down on travel, cuts down on trips. We're scrimmaging Monroe, so we're trying to stay in-state and local as much as we can. I certainly think that's beneficial. And is there much of a difference between Louisiana Tech and Arkansas State? No. But our people identify, and fans identify with Louisiana Tech a lot more than they identify with Arkansas State. And so I think it helps in terms of building a fan base. I think it helps in terms of interest, in terms of people coming to games. I think it helps with all that stuff.
Especially getting 2 Division I Sun Belt teams in here in the same week, I think, is really kind of what people want to see for a schedule. They're
and look,
in that.
you got to give credit to Coach Aiken for that. I mean, he went and played at Southern Miss last year to start the series. He went and played at UT Martin last year to start a series. He went and started on the road so he could have home games this year. The UL was a quirky contract on a 4-year contract where it was a home, away, a home for UL. So away, home, away for us. So, it just kind of fell right. But we certainly want to have, 2 to 3 Division I home games a year and mix it in with some of those non-Division I games.
All right, we're going to take our first break tonight on the PokeCast. We'll be back after this.
Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, located at 500 East McNee Street in Lake Charles, is locally owned and operated. Don't forget to check out Mr. Bill's Seafood Express daily lunch specials Monday through Friday. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express also has live music every Thursday and Saturday night. Chad Poussaint and Jason Gilroy, the owners of Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, proudly support the McNeese Cowboys. Mr. Bill's Seafood Express, 500 East McNee Street in Lake Charles, says, "Go Pokes!"
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Keelan Construction. Keelan Construction is South Louisiana's leading vertical and horizontal general contractor. Keelan courageously pursues complex challenges to advance further the life and culture of our staff and the communities we serve. And also brought to you by Southwest Beverage. Rooted in the community of Southwest Louisiana since 1954, Southwest Beverage has been a family-owned and operated business for 3 generations. Bud Light and Southwest Beverage has been a loyal supporters of McNeese State University for over 30 years by providing athletic scholarships as well as scholarships for students. We pride ourselves on being the premier beverage supplier in Southwest Louisiana and will continue to be here for many years to come. Thank you for your support of our brands and McNeese Athletics, and as always, go Pokes!
We're back here at Mr. Bill's right across campus from McNeese State University with Will Wade. If you have a question for Coach Wade, ask it quick. We've only got him for 10 more minutes tonight. He's got a pitch count tonight, so if you have a question, raise your hand and we'll get a microphone right to you. All right, you've talked about who are we going to be excited to see this year?
Hopefully all of them.
Give me one guy.
I think Christian Shoemate's really improved. I think he's improved his outside shot. He's improved his jump shot. So that'll certainly add a different layer and dimension, to his game. And so I think he'll be somebody that our fans are excited about just to see the improvement. I know he's somebody that our guys, really respect and respect how he's worked and respect how he's been here and kind of been through the mud in this thing. And, they want to see him and play hard for him and see him come out the other side of a winner. And so I think Shoemate's really made some big strides. Shahade Wells, a transfer from TCU, he's a prolific scorer. He's very, very good. CJ Felder, one of our big kids, has really made the transfer from Florida. He's a monster. He's better than advertised. He's gonna be a good player for us. So, we got a few.
Now you love the portal. You've said that many times. You love the transfer portal. You love the whole free agency and sports and all that. How hard is it though to get a team ready when you do that every year? And what do we know about the league because of that?
Well, I think I read where the 10 starters. I didn't read. Somebody told me that. Maybe you told me the 10 starters.
It was a smart thing. I probably did. Yes.
The 10 starters in the conference title game last year between Corpus and Northwestern, all of them are no longer there. All of them are gone. Did you tell me that?
Yes.
You told me that.
The coaches.
And the coaches. So, I think I think everybody in the league. New Orleans has almost all their guys back. Yeah. Southeastern has a lot of their guys back. Outside of that, everybody's pretty much got a brand new team. We got pretty close to a brand new team. Northwestern's got a brand new team. Nichols got a brand new team. Incarnate Word's got a brand new team. Corpus has a brand new team. Yeah. Lamar's got some holdovers, but they got some new guys. And Commerce lost a ton, and they've got pretty much a brand new team. So, I mean, there's a lot of folks that are in the same position we are. I think we got to play a little catch-up with New Orleans and Southeastern. They're a little bit ahead of some of us just because they've been together for a little longer. They've got some more experience together. But, you know, we gotta bring it together and make it work and make it happen.
Does that make it exciting for you as a new coach because everything's new and you don't have to worry about anything? Or
Yeah. That's the fun part of it. It's kind of it's like putting a puzzle together. You want to put the pieces together right, and you know, make sure that it you know, that everything fits right, and you give yourself the best opportunity to be successful and win.
What's the biggest surprise since you've been here?
Biggest surprise, honestly, there's been quite a few. I would say the administrative support. You know, I've known Heath, Coach Schroyer, a while, just like you have. And, you know, sometimes when they want you to come somewhere, they sell you on stuff, and you get there and it's totally different than what they sell. And Heath was, I mean, in my opinion, he was overselling when I was talking to him, but he actually undersold now that I'm here, just in terms of the support within the community, the support within the university, the support within the athletic department. Everybody's just gone, you know, above and beyond, you know, what should be expected or what could be expected. And, you know, we hope to be able to, you know, pay that back with, you know, winning the Southland, being at the top of the Southland, getting to the NCAA tournament, packing out the Legacy Center where people have a great experience. You know, we feel a burden to, you know, to pay that back for everything that's been done and all the positives that have, you know, that have happened around our program, but there's really just been an overwhelming amount of support.
What about the fact that you now have the tournament for extra 4 more years?
I really hate that, you know. Was it you at the press conference that asked me if other coaches had called me to congratulate me? Who was that asked that question?
Yeah, I might have.
What a terrible question that was. They called to congratulate us?
No, I don't. I wanted to hear what they said. Sometimes it's just key to get you talking.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, congrats, Coach. Glad you got the tournament for 4 more years.
But did you hear from other ones?
Huh?
Have you heard from anybody?
What are they going to call?
Not even snipey little emails?
No, what are they going to call and say?
Wow, I could use a game? I mean, they can't be happy.
No, I don't anticipate we'll be getting any calls. I don't think we'll be getting any Christmas cards from them either.
But have you been able to use that as far as recruiting goes?
It's great for recruiting. I mean, look, everybody wants access to the NCAA tournament. At the end of the day, you want access to the NCAA tournament. In a one-bid league, there's nobody that has a better setup than McNeese. There's no school in the country. So outside of the top 65 schools, let's call it the top 70 schools when you add the Gonzagas and some of the Mountain West schools in, there's still another 250 schools that play Division I basketball. Out of those 250, we are one of one. We're one of one out of 250.
So you look at it, as long as you finish first or second, you only got to win 2 home games.
Nobody else has that setup.
And you should.
Who else has that setup?
Nobody.
Right.
No, it's a good setup.
So, and when we're recruiting any kid that's considering outside of the Power 5, the American, or the Mountain West, why would you not come here? Well, everywhere else, you got to go win 3 games on a neutral court. Why would you not come here?
Well, I'm asking
you.
I have no more eligibility left, so you can't really.
I'm asking you.
No, I agree with you. It's a huge benefit that you guys should use.
Oh yeah, and we're using it.
I'm sure you are. Will Wade's been our guest for the first half hour here on the McNeese PokeCast. I want to get you out of here at the 25 mark, like I promised you. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for a couple of innings of relief. How's that?
Thanks for having me. I'm sure I'll be seeing plenty more of you here on the PokeCast.
Only if you're a lucky guy. Only if you're a lucky guy. We'll be back after this.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union. Southwest Louisiana Credit Union now offers an account just for McNeese students. It's the Blue and Gold checking account. All it takes is $5 to get you in. You get a free debit card, online and mobile banking, and access to a smart ATMs. There's no service charge. You can even get free financial counseling. That's why Southwest Louisiana Credit Union is now the official credit union for McNeese students and McNeese athletics. Find out more at swlacu.com. To open a Blue and Gold checking account, Go by Southwest Louisiana Credit Union at 4056 Ryan Street, about a block away from campus. Membership is required. As the oldest athletic booster organization at McNeese, the McNeese Cowboy Club is proud to continue providing support to all McNeese athletes for 49 years. We meet every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. in the Cowboy Club Room located over the south end zone with talks from coaches and other leaders in McNeese athletics. Come join us and discover what being a McNeese athletic booster is all about. And go Pokes.
We're back at Mr. Bill's across the street from McNeese State and MAF's PokeCast. How's that for you, Michael? Michael wants to hear the word MAF a lot. All right, Matt Fontenot is with us. I guess essentially you're the assistant athletic director, correct?
Yeah, that's basically it.
They give you all these kind of... Schroyer likes to give out all these kind of names and numbers and things, so it looks good. But
It's a long title. It's a lot to say, so I just say assistant athletic director.
that's the way I look at it. I try to simplify things as best I can.
No doubt.
All right, well, thanks for joining us. First question is, you've obviously been SEC-like when you were at Texas A&M and that, but going to the Swamp, what was that like?
It was good. I mean, yeah, I went there in 2017 with A&M, and it's obviously a little different, SEC versus SEC. It's a different energy in the building, but still, you put 80,000 people in a stadium to watch a football game, and it gets pretty electric. I mean, I think, it's cool to take back. I mean, just what they do from a marketing standpoint. Obviously, Michael McLaughlin was able to take some notes on just kind of how they go about their game day experience and what they can bring back to McNeese. So it was a good experience.
That's not name dropping when you say Michael, by the way. We don't call that a name drop.
He loves to name drop.
He does. He does. But obviously the check clear and all that, and that's the main reason why you go to that game. But the interesting thing for you guys is what can you learn as far as how they tailgate and what you can bring, even though it's a smaller size?
Yeah, sure. Honestly, I'll be frank. I like our tailgating experience a little bit better. They do a lot of pop-up shop tents. We got guys that'll stay out there for the weekend. It's actually, I would actually prefer ours a little bit better. I think we're a little bit more loyal, but
they don't have a concert, do they?
They don't have a concert, that's for sure.
Does anybody else have a concert the night before?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say no, but I could be wrong on that. But yeah, I mean, again, obviously, mass-wise, they got a whole lot more people. But again, what we do is second to none. So
no, I don't. I've never heard of anybody with a concert the night before, especially on site.
Right.
So I mean, there might be things around town as bars and that open up, but you guys have it right there. You knew about that before you got here, obviously.
Yep.
But were you surprised by how many people showed up for the concert?
I was. That first one, obviously, Flamethrowers is big here locally, so that was impressive. Wayne Toops, this next one is going to be equally as impressive, I would say. So, we're hoping to have another good crowd.
Now, playing at Florida obviously gives you some exposure, some notoriety, but you also, McNeese is very good at bringing in teams. LSU has played baseball here. LSU's played softball here. You've brought in big names in softball, especially. You want to say that LSU's going to play baseball here in this?
Yeah, we haven't officially announced it from McNeese.
LSU has.
LSU has announced it. Actually, UL has actually announced it because they put in their press release that LSU is also playing McNeese in Lake Charles. So, yeah, we can officially say we're going to play LSU in a fall game. It's a scrimmage, 16 innings, November 5th. We got more details we're working through. That's why we haven't announced it officially yet, but we can put some more information out next week. Tickets are on sale, I think, October 9th. We're just finalizing some of those last-minute details. But, yeah, we'll have the national champ Tigers here in Lake Charles.
So you don't usually publicize fall games that much.
You don't, no. But you like to capitalize. I mean, it's a good experience for Lake Charles. Obviously, you get softball. I drew them here in the spring for a real game. It's hard to draw them here for a baseball real game, just because everybody likes to go to Alex Box. But yeah, I mean it's a great experience for Lake Charles and for our guys to get them over here.
Well, they do come out here. I think like every 5 or 6 years because they hit everybody around the state. In fact, Aaron Nola's first start ever was at McNeese State.
That's
the pitcher
right.
from the Phillies.
Yep.
So that's how far back I have to go. But so
it's a good way.
It is an interesting way to see it, because a Sunday afternoon game, especially with some of the local kids that play there, getting 16 innings in mean you're going to see a lot of players.
A lot of players, yeah. I mean, it'll stretch us thin a little bit, but it's good. It gets you to get those young guys. We got a 41-man roster this year for baseball, and gets you to, just to kind of see the end of the bullpen and see what's there. Gives Justin a really good look at his squad.
Now, you're a baseball guy.
Yeah.
Former St. Louis baseball coach.
Yep.
Do you miss being a coach?
I do a little bit. I go over there. I like to help out Justin. We're trying to put his facility back together, but I go get my fix every now and then and just watch practice and watch guys in the cages.
So you still get the itch?
I don't know about the itch. I really enjoy just being on this side. No BP yet.
There you need to take BP.
I might throw it at some point just to help him out.
So what's the difference between going to a Gainesville and going to Alcorn, because you're in charge of football? What's the difference with that? Because where do you got to stay for Alcorn State? Where do you got to stay for that? What are the facilities like as far as just the town goes?
Yeah, actually, I would say that in Jackson we might have a nicer hotel than what we had in Gainesville. I think the misconception is that the SEC is this big monster that has all these nice facilities and extras, but frankly, if you go to Gainesville, you got to stay in Ocala, which is an hour away, because that's the first full-service hotel. Same thing, if you go to Auburn, you got to stay in Montgomery, an hour away.
Yeah.
Alabama, Birmingham, an hour away. Ole Miss, Olive Branch, or South Haven, an hour away. So, it really, we're kind of going into the same situation. Alcorn's in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi, and we'll stay in Jackson. Really nice hotel. The guys will get a good meal and a good night's sleep, and then we show up on game day and try to win the game.
When you're putting that together, how do you judge where you're going to stay? Does it have to be a select hotel or a certain hotel, or what are the standards that have to be met?
Basically, the big thing is, on the day of a game, like this weekend we play at 6 o'clock, you got a day full of meetings. You have a special teams meeting, an offense, a defense, team meal. You have all these meetings that have to take place. You have to have some type of meeting space or conference space to be able to host a football team for that reason. So, a normal hotel won't do. You have to have some type of full-service hotel to accommodate a team.
Did they treat you well at a SEC?
They do. They definitely do. Food's a little bit better. Service is a little bit better. Anytime you have Nick Saban running around demanding things, everything just goes up a notch. So, yeah, we were taking pretty good care of in Ocala.
There's rumors this is his last year.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
The real rumor out there now.
What's that?
Deion Sanders is going to coach Alabama next year.
Alabama? Oh, that's a big jump from Colorado.
I was just saying that's the big one out there all of a sudden.
Interesting. Very interesting.
When you're coming from Texas A&M, and now you're at McNeese, obviously a whole different standard in that. What do you think you learned at Texas A&M you can bring here?
I like to go back. I mean, I think obviously the resources are different from a financial, but also from a personnel. There was more people, more money, obviously. The biggest thing I take away is the amount of pride they took in it. Everybody says there's more money in Texas. That's true. They build really nice things over there, but they also take care of really nice things over there. And I think if we can get to the point where we have the same amount of pride and respect for our facilities, the things that we do here, the small jobs that we do here, it'll only help to just make us a little bit better each time, each day.
And you're obviously looking forward to the new press box.
New press box is going to be awesome. Absolutely, yeah.
But as a baseball guy, everybody wants to know, baseball-wise, the new baseball facility.
Yep.
Is that moving forward?
It is moving forward. In fact, one of the first things, Justin took me on a little tour of the old part of the baseball facility. It actually was a little disappointing as a former player, as an alumni, but it is what it is from the storm. But Justin's been in the Alumni Center now for 3 years.
Yeah.
Kind of disconnected from his players, which I didn't even realize as an alumni. So kind of the first order of business was to get him back into his building. We're probably we keep telling him Christmas, but I'm hoping by the end of the month, maybe in October, we'll get him back into that building. We're designing a little player area where he can get in and his players can have some space. But that's a big deal for them. Just the interaction from coach to player is what's been lacking. And he's had success despite of it. So in the meantime, we're going to temporarily put him back in this building while we design and build the other one, which we're saying, in 3 years he'll put cleats in that building for the new locker room.
And it is going on the site of the fire station right behind home plate.
Yep. That deal's been done, finally executed. We did a land swap with the McNeese Farm and the city of Lake Charles for some land there. So we own that land now. That's where the coach's offices, locker room, team meeting rooms, training room, all that will be there where the fire station was. And then we'll kind of renovate the old building for basically player development, cages, bullpens, weight room, that sort of deal.
All right, last question for you. Has Schroyer given you the okay to negotiate for FBS?
Schroyer has not given me that okay yet. He is holding tight on that negotiation deal, but he's doing a fantastic job. Again, we
don't compliment him on any show.
I know you don't. But I just go back. I mean, everybody's been talking about the check cashing from this past weekend, the $500,000, $600,000 check, whatever it was. The FBS rate is 1.3. I mean, it doubles it. It's good for the school. It's good for the university. It's good financially for a Louisiana State school.
Not only does it double if you go to FBS, but more importantly, it opens up a whole group of other schools that'll play you now.
100%.
Because a lot of the big schools are kind of backing off.
That's correct.
As their conferences get bigger.
Yep. Which scheduling's been difficult. The SEC's expanding, and they don't know they hadn't put out 2026 schedules and beyond yet. So, our money games we're trying to fill in right now, and it's difficult until things kind of shake out with the conference realignment. So,
yeah, but you guys do have 2 games signed for LSU.
We do. 2027 and 2029, we're going to LSU for a money game those 2 years. But again, those ones in the middle, 26 and 28, we're still trying to work through. So,
all right. I want to thank Matt Fontenot for jumping in tonight. We were supposed to have Gary Goff. Obviously, the rain forced him to miss tonight's show. He will be in the next couple of weeks. We'll be back to football coaches next week, weather permitting. Now
that's right.
I guess we got to use the term weather permitting all the time.
We didn't factor that in for sure.
No, I didn't. I never saw this coming. I got to admit that.
Yep.
I should have, though. I should have. All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
Yep.
We'll be back right after this with the final segment on the McNeese PokeCast.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Twisted Vines. They offer residential and commercial lawn and landscaping maintenance, irrigation and drainage installation and repairs, outdoor landscaping, lighting, holiday and event light installation also with 3D drawings. Contact Ryan Boyd at 337-274-2267 or email info@twistedvineslc.com. Like them on Facebook and follow on Instagram at TwistedVinesLC. If you mention you heard the Twisted Vines on the PokeCast, you will receive a 10% discount off your purchase. And Pompelli Tire, official tire store of McNeese Athletics. Experts in tires, EV-specific tires as well. We do more than just tires. Mechanical work as well. A full-time mechanic is on site at all times to help in your needs.
We're back here in the McNeese PokeCast at Mr. Bill's. Brendon Gilroy is going to join us right now, track and cross-country coach at McNeese State. Coach, how you doing?
I'm all right. I just finished a cross-country meet today.
Today?
We were hosting for high schools and middle schools in the area.
Did you have a tournament, or did you have a track meet last week?
We had a cross-country meet in Beaumont a cross-country meet in Beaumont 2 weeks ago.
So you had a cross-country meet for high schoolers today?
Today, yeah. The area, we had teams from Natchitoches all the way to Baton Rouge to Texas come over. About 300 kids.
When do you host yours?
We're going to host the big one, the Lake Charles Cowboys Stampede. That's going to be on September 23rd.
So how does that look?
It's looking pretty good. We got a few of the state teams coming in for the colleges, and we'll actually put another high school meet on for that as well. Oh, sorry. Yep. I'm not used to this. All right. Okay.
This is different from the TV show where we have the big microphone hanging over and Marcus just makes all the mistakes go away.
But it's shaping up to be a good meet. Yeah.
So when you do high schools,
yes.
How fun is that for you? How much work is it for you? And how much can you showcase kind of your facilities?
Well, we host all our cross country at the Enos Dearborn Sports Complex. So that we have a partnership with them, and they allow us to use the facility. It's really good for us to use it out there for cross country. Now for track, obviously it's great to have a home meet for high schools to let them see the facility, let them see the indoor track. We talked about that before in the past, and then we're going to start bringing outdoor meets back here to the Bill and Lena Henning Track and Field Complex.
When you're doing cross country compared to a track,
yeah.
What's the main difference? Because obviously we know it's longer running and all that,
Yeah.
but what's the training difference?
It's just the distance runners. So it's just our distance kids that have the fall season. So those young men and women are up every morning. If you're driving around at 5:30, 6 o'clock, they're on the road 6 days a week. All over Lake Charles and Southwest Louisiana training.
And who are some of the standouts with this group?
On the men's side, Omar El Fidel, he's a junior with us now. He's a two-time conference champion of 1500. He won the race in Beaumont 2 weeks ago, which that's his first collegiate cross-country win. So he's looking really good. We're bringing back Jacob Kipkogi, who's 16th at regionals. He was all-conference last year. Gilbert Kimutai, who's been all-conference last year as well. So we're actually pretty strong up front on the top four. Where our fifth men are coming from our bulk of our middle distance younger guys. But also we brought in a kid, Rolando Ortiz, out of Eastern Kentucky. He actually was our number 2 man. So those are the guys that are really put up a good meet last week. We had a young freshman from New Zealand, 800-meter guy. He had a good run. He was our 5th man. So the men rounded up. We got second over there. Our ladies won. First time on the road in about 10 years, so which was good. We've won here at home before, but the ladies are looking. They're kind of the sleepers. We're deep. We're mature. We have. There's not very much youth on the team. It's all like juniors, seniors, sophomores. So it's good.
Is there a big transfer portal usage in track and field and cross country?
Cross country, per se. I mean, we've picked up a few. We had one depart us last year. I mean, I don't think it's as big as some of the other sports, to be honest with you. But I mean, it just in cross country, you have 7 on a roster that can compete at the conference championship. Or well, we have 10, but 7 at the regional, 7 at nationals. So I mean, there's not a lot of space. So you just gotta kind of bring them along. Sometimes you develop some, sometimes you redshirt them. You kind of stagger a little bit. But this year we're kind of all in on both genders, shall we say? And yeah.
When everything gears towards the nationals when it comes to track and field.
Right.
What are the big things in cross country as far as there's a national championship, obviously, in that? But do you do the same kind of regional, same kind of step up as you go?
It's the way the way the cross country works. You have conference. You can go to regionals if you want. So if your team is competitive, and if we do well at conference, I usually bring them. But to get out to the national meet is rough. To get all regional is rough. It's top 25. In the region, gets all region out of 200 plus runners. It's tough. And then to get out, you can get out as a top 2 team or top 3 individual. So it's pretty tough. It's been a while since we had one. We've had them qualify before individually. McNeese sent a team in the 70s. That's the last Louisiana team ever to make it.
So how many teams are coming to your cross country meet?
Probably about 6 or 7. We'll have, like I said, most of the in-state schools. I think Southern's coming over. Gramblin's coming down. ULM are going to come down. ULL or USL coming over. We had for a long time HCU has come over, but UIW has a pre-conference meet this weekend, and so some of the teams are going to that and not coming over to us next week because we don't race every week. We race, then 3 weeks we might race again. We set a schedule of like 4 meets, including conference, for the season. And so it's about the training, getting the volume in, getting the quality work in, and getting better as we move on. Because it's very hard to race every week.
How much?
To be honest, you just can't do it every week.
How much is it getting them ready for the long distance running of the spring and
yeah, so
winter?
This is our base building. So we started June 1st. The majority started June 1st. These kids work, like I said, the guys average of, somewhere around 80 miles a week. The women are, anywhere from 60 to 45 miles a week on the women's side. And I mean, we keep the volumes high. The workouts are all long right now, and they stay like that all the way through about halfway through indoor season to kind of peak for the outdoor conference meet.
And when does a cross country meet start?
Our cross country meet will start at 8:30 in the morning with the college women, and then we'll have 9 o'clock for college men, and then we have the high schools and middle schools after that.
So how many high schools come over?
Oh, we'll have at the park. We'll host somewhere around Last year was like 750 athletes total. We had probably about 2,500 people at the park at the Enos Terrebonne Sports Complex. It was massive. The Cowboy Club has stepped in. They're our gatekeepers. They do a great job taking the gate and stuff like that. It's like a festival. It's not really just a track meet. It's a bunch of races if you really want to watch it. But it's a lot of fun to it. We've had the Power Pokes come in before. That group has kind of dwindled down a little bit. I really haven't hit them up in a couple of years. We got music, DJs playing. The track team actually hosts it. So we just finished the sprinters out there. They helped me host the college meet, the high school meet out there just now. So community service, it's everything.
It's a big project to put on.
It's a big thing, and my coaches do a great job. They're track coaches. I'm the distance coach, so I'm the cross country guy. I have a couple of volunteers that help me in cross, but they're volunteers, so they help me with the training. So setting up that today, I set it up. The team helped me run it, and they broke it down. I got a chance to come here and see you guys tonight. Yeah, so it was a quick turnaround.
Have you been able to get kids interested in the school from the high school from this trip?
From the high schools, from the indoor season, we've picked up quite a few. The cross country season, it just depends. There's a few that come through that are quality that you kind of have to look at. A lot of the kids around here are undertrained, but the thing is, between coming from college to or high school to college, the jump up is quite significant. And so, if they're not used to that kind of training, it's very hard to keep them. The retention of them is pretty hard. So I've had some really good ones that come out of this area, but that's far and few between on the distance side of things. And it's just because the volumes are so much greater,
What about as you look forward to how quickly does the winter track season start indoor?
Yeah, so cross country finishes for us. Conference is going to be the end of October. Middle of November is the regional meet. We're going to go to Arkansas for that, Fayetteville. And then if we qualify anybody on nationals, we'll go to, that'll be over Thanksgiving. And then indoors kicks off the middle of January. Right when we get back, we'll host the first McNeese indoor meet here, January 12th or 13th, that Friday night. We're going to host a college meet here on the...
I know I've asked this before, but what's the main difference between indoor and outdoor track season?
The track size. There's a 200-meter track, so some of the events are a little different. On the 60 meters, we run 60 meters, 60-meter hurdles indoors. We run 100 meters, 100-meter hurdles outdoors. We don't have like the long hurdle race indoors. We'll have the 800. We'll do the mile, which is common to everybody in the United States, but outdoors we do 1,500, which is the metric mile, as you see in Olympics and the World Championships. We'll do the 10,000 outdoors. All we do is the 5,000 indoors, and we do a 3,000 indoors. So the different races, the weight throw is indoors, which is a big weight, about the size of that football on a handle for the guys. It's like 35 pounds. It's heavy. But they throw a 16-pound weight on a hammer on a 4-foot chain outdoors. But the shot put is the same. There's no discus or javelin indoors. There's discus and javelin out for obvious reasons. Facility can't throw you can't throw a 200 feet in a discus or a javelin. So so some of the events are different.
It seems that what I've seen is the indoor seems like it's a little more exciting at times. A lot of things happening at one time.
Because of and if you ever come to the rec complex, I do encourage you just to pop over and see it. I mean, we've been told, I told you this before, it's like a circus. But even like when we go to Birmingham or go to LSU, different things are going on. It's great to see 4 or 5, 6 different events at one time. The way we run it in there is a lot different because we have upstairs, downstairs, so we have nonstop where it's just something's going on all the time. So it's a lot of fun.
And what is a good track indoor guy? Can they go to the outdoors well?
Oh, yeah. No, our distance kids compete all year round. Our sprinters compete 2 seasons. Our throwers compete, except for our javelin throwers, we only compete outdoors. But our throwers, our shot puts, our Marcus Francis, he's shot put all conference indoors and outdoors. He'll throw both seasons, but he'll throw more events outdoors. He just throws shot put, he throws weight indoors. But he'll throw discus, he'll throw the shot, and he'll throw the hammer outdoors. Tyler Chalice throws the weight indoors, but he throws javelin, discus, and the hammer outdoors. So I mean, he can throw more.
What do you like better, indoor or outdoor?
I love it all. I'm a track fan. I love it all. So cross country, I coach the cross country kids, but I love a good 4x4. I love a good long jump. I love a good triple jump. If you see it done really well, the hammer throw is poetry in motion. Unreal. We have a young lady here, Mariah Lee, who decided to come back. She graduated twice. She decided to she deferred her enrollment to law school last year. She's taking classes in her second master's degree right now, so she can come back and try and win the conference again and break the school record in the hammer. She only picked it up 2 years ago. She was a sprinter here. We just found an event that suited her better.
Are a lot of college records in jeopardy because of the 7th-year COVID kids and that, or
Well,
not really?
I mean, Coach Hayes did a great job here back in the 70s and 80s because some of these records here are very tough. We've broken some. We had a guy, I mentioned him earlier, Omar El Fidel.
Yeah.
He almost took out Fanahan McSweeney's record in the 800. Fanahan's record is from 1972 at 149.1. Omar ran 149.6 last year. He's only just a sophomore, so he's young, so he's got a shot to get that record. It's the second oldest record in the men's on the books. But there's a few of them are in the 70s and even in the 60s. Yeah.
All right, Brendon Gilroy has been our guest here in this segment. When's your track meet again?
We have the cross-country meet.
Cross-country meet.
It's the Lake Charles Toyota Stampede on January 23rd. We're also hosting the Cowboy Club 5K road race for the community. It's a fun run and walk October 7th.
All right, thanks for your time.
Yes, sir.
Going to come back right after this with the finish of PokeCast.
The McNeese PokeCast is also brought to you by Twisted Vines. They offer residential and commercial lawn and landscaping maintenance, irrigation and drainage installation and repairs, outdoor landscaping, lighting, holiday and event light installation also with 3D drawings. Contact Ryan Boyd at 337-274-2267 or email info@twistedvineslc.com. Like them on Facebook and follow on Instagram at twistedvineslc. If you mentioned you heard the Twisted Vines on the PokeCast, you will receive a 10% discount off your purchase. And Pompelli Tire, official tire store of McNeese Athletics. Experts in tires, EV-specific tires as well. We do more than just tires. Mechanical work as well. A full-time mechanic is on site at all times to help in your needs.
Oh, final 8 minutes here at the PokeCast on this Wednesday night from Mr. Bills. Thank the coaches for stepping in. Obviously, Gary Goff was expected here. Practice got pushed back with the lightning delays, so we had to improvise on the fly. Thank Brendon Gilroy. Thank Will Wade. Thank Matt Fontenot for stepping in. Didn't think you'd be on the air this much, did you?
I did not. Yeah, Heath kind of threw me in here. Heath's in Connecticut.
Well, here's the thing. If Heath was in town, nobody would get a word in.
Oh, he'd be all over it.
There'd be no words coming in, so
Yep.
I wouldn't even get a word in. You know, that guy just, Mr. Media hogs everything. He
That's right.
He is the spotlight.
He is.
All right, so you were at Florida.
Yep.
My perception was that they simplified a lot of things, but they looked more prepared, they looked more intense, and they looked like they took a step forward, despite the score.
Yep.
Is that what the perception was like there?
It was for me. I mean, I think, obviously you hate to keep saying, well, we got a bunch of young guys, but the portal is what it is. You're going to take some young guys that were maybe at some big programs but didn't see a lot of minutes. And, they get thrown into a game and that they're kind of unprepared for. They're a little shell shock. And frankly, McNeese State comes with some expectations. I mean, we had 12,000 fans there, and for a guy that really hadn't played much, that's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And so I think we just didn't play well the first week, and it led to some rookie mistakes. And now we go over there with nothing to lose. And I thought the energy level was better. I thought the effort was way better. And we really, we didn't turn the ball over. Quarterback play was better. I just think we did some really good things that we could build on moving into the next couple of games.
Well, one of the things, talking to the kids this week, one of the big things was the speed of the game, because Florida was so much quicker and everything, really helped them, especially the passing game, because they have to make decisions quick. And that's what Gary Goff had talked about last year. That's what he talked about this year, is the quarterbacks were thinking too much and not reacting. And in this case, they had to just react.
Yep.
So Nate Glantz said it. He said that he learned so much from that, just on the speed of he's got to do first read, get it out. I think that's the biggest step that they took out of it. But what was the speed like watching Florida?
I mean, you have a 350-pound D lineman that's still catching a guy off the edge is you don't get that in the Southland Conference, obviously, or Tarleton. So
not for very long. He's gone pretty quick.
No. Yeah. If we got that going in the Southland Conference, we got problems, but we don't. So, I think agreed. I think the game is going to slow down some for the offense, and for the defense. I think it's going to be better going forward.
And defensively, although they gave up 49.7 touchdowns on that, they didn't give up a lot of big plays.
Absolutely.
Micah Davey looked like he could fit right in, which
he started attacking people. Yep.
Might be a bad thing in the long run, but that's a portal thing for the future. But also, Jalen Jackson looked like he fit in. There were some guys that looked like they could do some things on the next level. That's why I'm really interested to see how this team reacts going into now a completely different setting, because it's one thing to get fired up to play in front of 89,000.
Yep.
They're not going to have 89,000 this week.
Yep.
Can they keep their intensity, and can they kind of figure out what they learned last week moving forward?
Yep. I think, do you remember how many sacks? Was it less than a handful? 2 sacks, I think, we gave up at Florida? 3 sacks at Florida, and we gave up, half a dozen the
6
week before. So I think, again, we're making steps in the right direction. Even against a better defense, we gave up less sacks. So I feel good about it moving forward.
The sacks is going to be the big thing this week, because last year McNeese gave up 10 sacks to Alcorn.
Yep.
Really, the Alcorn game was McNeese's worst game last year, no matter what the score was. They had double the most penalties. I think they had 9 penalties. They were averaging 3.5 going in.
Yep.
They gave up 10 sacks. They looked like they were confused and lost. I want to see the progress from 2 games last year compared to this year.
No doubt.
Because I fully assume that from what I've seen, I can't figure out why what we saw in practice for 3 weeks we didn't see opening night.
For sure.
I want to see if that comes back.
For sure.
And that's going to be a timing thing, but we really need to see at some point the quarterback step up.
No doubt. And that scrimmage on Friday night before Tarleton, him running down the field and celebrating with his teammates, that free, loose playing quarterback wasn't there the past couple of weeks.
No.
And I hope to see that back. He's a lot of fun when he's really playing football.
Well, talking to him this week, he claims that's coming.
Good.
He said he's understood the problems. He hadn't played a game in 618 days.
No doubt.
And that's a long time. That's a lot of time. I think he had never played with these receivers.
Yep.
There's a lot of real excuses you could have, but you do have to start running out of excuses at some time.
No doubt.
And seeing how they react to playing a team, one, that beat them last year, and 2, on the road against an FCS school that is the interesting thing about Tarleton is this. They've been planning 8 years for this moment.
No doubt.
People forget that. They've been building 8 years to move into eventually FBS, and they're on the cusp of FBS. They have a facility. They also have invested $10 million in football. They have a $10 million budget for football. So seeing them pass you by is one thing.
Yep.
That's not Elkhorn and Eastern Illinois.
It's not.
So these are 2 games that are, one, winnable, but are really going to be played on the same level more than anything else.
Yep. And I would still go back to defend the football program. Again, they have invested a ton of resources into football at Tarleton, and we had the lead late in the third quarter. We didn't play great, and we still had the lead. I think, again, we are going to be a good football team. I'll go out on a limb and say that. I believe in Coach Goff and what he's doing with the program. And we've got good players. He did a really good job in the transfer portal. I'll say one more thing, that a math professor on campus complimented Gary, and just the kids that are in this program, in their classes, on campus. They've done a better job recruiting the whole kid this last year.
Well, different kids
than they have in the past 3 years. So he's going in the right direction. We're building a great program. It's just going to take a little time.
Yeah, different kids. I mean, clearly different kids he's bringing in the program. Matt Fontenot, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Filling in. Everybody filled in tonight. Did an extremely good job. Alcorn State game is at 6 o'clock. It can be heard right here on 92.9 The Lake.
The Lake.
Also, don't forget the fact that after that, it's a beautiful trip to Charleston, Illinois.
Yep.
Charleston, Illinois, in case anybody wants to know, is the first place that ever recruited me.
Yep.
My first high school trip and college trip was in Charleston, Illinois. enjoy original Burger King is in Charleston, Illinois. So you'll like that.
A lot of facts.
We'll see you next week on the McNeese PokeCast. Hopefully our guest will not get rained out.